mindset and business coach. Welcome back to my channel. We are going to go ahead and get right into it. So today I wanted to talk about my experience with Transformation Church. See my shirt? I'm repping them today, y'all. So, oh my gosh. I know there's all kinds of people talking about Pastor Michael Todd, and each his own. Everybody has their own experiences. But because I had such an incredible experience, I wanted to go ahead and share that. So I first found Transformation Church, I believe, a couple years ago. Oh my gosh, it's probably been like 7 years now, maybe. And I was on YouTube. I think I had like Google searched looking for something. I want to say talking about God and relationships. And I found his relationship goals. And I watched the video. It was amazing. And then from there, I kind of just went on this like binge and started watching all kinds of videos and was just amazed at how it was touching my spirit. And it got to the point where every day I used to commute 2 to 3 hours from work, from DC to Virginia. And every day it became part of my routine. So I would watch these videos or like listen to the videos as I was commuting. And it was phenomenal. And then I had never felt so connected to someone that was preaching the word. Like I had grown up in old school Baptist churches and the sermons were boring at most of the churches I went to. And then my home church, I think I had been there so long that I had outgrown it. And this goes to say that like we have phases of our lives, right? We have these stages and chapters, and it's okay to outgrow a church. It's okay to outgrow things and then to move on to something else. I don't like to stay stuck in one place. I think we're often people that like to stay in our comfort zone, and that's understandable, but you can't grow anywhere other than outside of your comfort zone. And so for me, it was really important that I connected with a minister that was preaching in a way that resonated with me. And that was what I loved about Pastor Michael Todd, was that his messages resonated with me. I'm in my 30s, and they spoke to me in a way that no other pastor ever had. Not only that, I liked visuals because I'm a visual learner. So he's very animated, and he's got, all these different things going on stage to kind of make the story flow and just to explain these different analogies and scriptures. And I loved that. And then I also loved the music. I love music. And again, like I grew up in the old school Baptist church, and so I loved the music there. But this was newer music that I finally liked, which had been really hard for me to do. I had never really found newer music that resonated with me. And then their non-denominational church, which was really going in the direction that was aligning with my life at that point. And so that was my experience. And so over the next couple of years, I ended up listening to them on YouTube over and over every Sunday. I would tune in, and I would often, go to my church and then listen to theirs after, or, vice versa. I just made him part of my routine, and I absolutely loved it. And I could see my relationship with God growing. And that was what I ultimately wanted. And so fast forward to when the pandemic happened, that was when it really became a consistent part of my Sunday. And so I faithfully would log in and I would watch them. And then I also realized that I was sharing it out with my friends and family, right? And they were starting to love it and connect with it. And then I was meeting like strangers that were also, because at this point they had become a little bit more well known. And yeah, it was incredible. It was like everybody was kind of on this, transformation church train. And I was loving it because I really do believe that a lot of good can come from this church and their ministry and their work. And, you know, he's not perfect. I'm sure that there are times where people feel like they're too marginalized and whatever people think. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I just know that they have truly touched my heart. And the other thing I wanted to add that was in between the pandemic and when I first found them, I forgot, was like the most important part of the story. Hello. I actually got to go to Transformation Church, and I wish I had my the magazine that I got from there. I don't even know if I still have it. There's stickers and everything. I got this, and I think I got a hoodie. I don't know what else I got from there. I think it was something else. Anyway, yeah, did I get a hoodie? I don't know. Anyway, so I actually got to experience the church, and this was when, I think this was a year before the pandemic. Yeah, I think this was a year before the pandemic. I actually flew out to Oklahoma City. I was there for a business trip and then also personal. And my plans kind of didn't go how I thought they were going to go. That's a whole other video. Because I was actually going out there because I was supposed to get married. This is like the first time ever I was supposed to get married. I was madly in love, and he was in Oklahoma. So I'll explain that in another video. Y'all don't want to miss that. But anyway, back to my story. So I flew out to Oklahoma City, and then I drove all the way from Oklahoma City to Tulsa. So my plans didn't work out the way I wanted them to. So I was like, well, how am I going to use my time out here? And again, I felt like that was a situation where God, that was no mistake. Everything worked out to where instead of me being on the trip for what I was there for, I ended up falling in love with Oklahoma, genuinely, like on my own. And so had I ended up moving there at some point, it wouldn't have been based on a relationship or a man. It was like, I really loved it out there. I was able to connect with some family that we had recently met a couple months before that. The Puerto Rican side of my family was out there, and that was incredible. I didn't get to connect with many of them, but I did get to talk to them and see my cousin. That was amazing. And so I was like, what am I going to do with the rest of my time? Like, now I don't have plans on Sunday, so what am I going to do? And I knew I wanted to go to this church. I'm like, I can't be in Oklahoma and this close to Transformation Church and not go. And so I ended up going there that Sunday. And I think this was when they had just recently moved into the big new stadium, the facility. And it was amazing. And when I tell you, it was an experience like no other. Like, imagine going to a concert. I think I've only been to one concert, though. I don't really know. Anyway, so I walk through, right? First of all, there's this huge parking deck, like at the mall when they have those parking decks. And I had to like find parking. And then I walked through the doors, and they were so welcoming. And you could just feel the amazing energy. Like, you could feel God's presence in that building. And so I go in, and they've got like 2 rows down the hall, and they're just all loving on you and shouting and praising, and it was amazing. And I walked through, and I just felt so loved and so welcome. And I walk through, and then I go in, and we find seating. I had pretty good seats. I was kind of down at the bottom on the side, but I could like see him. And it was amazing. I felt like I was at a concert seeing a celebrity, but more so like just feeling, and not because of all the music and everything. They did have that. They didn't do like the praise as long as they do now, but it was just incredible just to feel God's presence. And that energy was what made it feel like a concert, because it was just this flow of good energy, and you could feel God's presence. And the sermon was phenomenal. I don't even remember what he talked about now, but it was amazing. And I took lots of pictures. I met a young lady that was a stewardess, and she was traveling, and she tells me that she was like afraid to fly. And I'm like, because I was afraid to fly. That was the other thing. Like, I have only flown 3 times in my life, and I was terrified of flying. Another video I'll have to make. But so we were like talking about that, and it was just really cool to connect with someone on that level. So it was amazing. But when I tell you that this was one of the best experiences I've ever had, everyone was really kind and welcoming. They also invited us to like a lunch or something, I think. And they had their little bookshop, and you could go and get, swag and different things, almost like a souvenir shop. And so I went in there, and I didn't get to talk to um, Pastor Michael Todd, but I did get to meet with his assistant pastor, and that was incredible. He was so kind. And so I'm going to post my pictures from that trip so that you guys can look at those. But if you haven't experienced it, don't believe everything that everyone else says. I personally had an amazing experience, and I just recommend experiencing it for yourself. But I can truly say that he has changed my life with his teachings and his messages and just this movement that he's creating. So thank God for him. All right, you guys, as always, if you found this helpful, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.